Hi everybody, my name is Caden.
I'm Jaden.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Eli.
And I'm Jason.
And we are in the Torah YouTube channel.
And it is a Shabbat day, everybody. How are you guys doing out there? Everybody's real excited. Everybody want to do a drum roll for Shabbat. But we are here. We thank you guys very, 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 very much for joining us. It is Yah's day. It is the day that is spectacular. It is wondrous. It is just the greatest day that we could possibly ever have. And I know there's a lot of you guys out there that are struggling right now. I know there's a lot of destruction. I know there's a lot of death out there. There's a lot of sickness, and there's a lot of people that are broken. And the best thing that I can say is Yah will take care of all of us. We will have our ups and we will have our downs, but we will always be in the hand of our Creator, and He will never, ever let us down. He will never, ever forsake us. And even though Hasatan may ride on us, he may drag us into the ditch, he may take us away, Yah will never, ever let us be fully taken away out of His hand, out of His grasp. And so we are His people, and we are chosen people, and we are called as His people. And for those who do not know, we are the Yahoo and the Torah channel. We believe that the laws, statutes, and commands of our Creator are not only the greatest things that could possibly ever encounter our lives, but they are the greatest thing that we could possibly ever have forever. And it is by those laws, statutes, and commands, and it is because of us breaking those laws, statutes, and commands that we were sent a Messiah. We were sent Messiah Yahushua. And for those who do not know who that is, everybody has known Him as Jesus. And we have no J's in Hebrew. The letter J was not invented until the year 1529. The very first that we knew of the name Jesus was in 1611 in the King James Bible. And prior to that, they had it as IESUS. And so we know that it's a Y sound. It's like Joshua with a Y, Yahushua. And that is the name of our Messiah. And it is the Messiah that has brought life to us. And he came to break the spiritual death of us breaking the Torah. We will all die the physical death. We will all not make it out of here. And as a brother said this morning, death is as much a part of life as anything is. And we must embrace all aspects of it. But the law, statutes, and commands are wondrous. They're for all time. And this is what our mission is. And our entire life's goal is to let people know about the law, statutes, and commands, because people have taken them. They've tossed them in the ditch. They've put them on a tree. They've nailed them to a cross. And they say they don't apply to them today, but they don't even know what they are. And that is the sad thing. The very first thing people will say is, oh, you can't do sacrifices. You can't kill anything. And that is absolutely true, and we don't need to. We do have a Melchizedek priest. We have a priest who came and fulfilled the obligations of the priesthood. And not only do we have that priest, but we also have that perfect atonement sacrifice. But it is not a sin forever card. It is not a thing that we can go off and we can live how we want to live and what's right in our own eyes. It is that we have a chance when we have broken the Torah, that our hearts are crushed, our minds are crushed, our souls are crushed. We are so crushed that we would fall out of covenant with our Creator, that we have the blood of the Messiah Yahushua, that He is able to free us from this. And so that is our goals, and this is what we're doing. Gentlemen, how are you guys doing today?
Good.
Everyone?
Good.
Everyone, 19-year-old today. You guys are big boys. It's crazy. 19 years ago today, these guys were born and put into this world. Praise Yah that we have this kind of a community right here. And we don't celebrate birthdays here. We don't do any of this stuff for happy birthdays. They all get a big hug, and we truly, truly praise Yah that He delivered this family and that He brought all of this to fruition. All right, guys, let's get started with a little bit of prayer. Precious Heavenly Father, we ask that You will dwell with us. Father, You have said that You will be our Elohim and we can be Your people if only we will keep Your laws, statutes, and commands. Father, we are calling out to You. We are Your creation that is calling out to You. We are looking for You. We thank You for Your name. We thank You for Your ways. Most importantly, Father, we thank You for Your Son. Without Him, we would have absolutely nothing. We would have no hope. But because You have delivered a Son to us, because You have delivered the sacrifice, we do have hope. And we have a kingdom that we will go to one day if only we will listen to Your words, if only we will do what You say. Father, You are our Creator. Thank You so much for delivering every single one of us. For those who have ears to listen, that are able to hear, Father, I ask that you will bless them, that you will use these words to glorify your name, that your kingdom will be glorified. Father, I ask that people will call out to your name, that they will listen to what you have to say, Father. There's no better way, and we know it. Those of us who are here that are listening to your word, we can't thank you enough for everything that you have delivered to us. Father, there's so many of us that are broken, so many of us that are hurting right now. Father, I ask that your healing hands and your love is upon every single one of them, and us that we're able to feel your love, able to know that you dwell with us. And Father, I thank you for not leaving us nor forsaking us, and for always being with us through everything. Father, we ask this reading today is blessed by you, that nothing comes out of our mouths that is not sanctified by you. Father, deliver us the way you want us to be. Let us hear what you want us to hear. And Father, help us to decipher the truth that is in your Torah and come to the conclusions that this is the best way to be. Father, we thank you for everything. I ask this in the name of Yahushua. I ask this in the name of your Son. I ask this in your beautiful name. Amen. Okay, let us begin. Let's just go over first. We'll go over our calendar real quick. Nicole, what do you got? Anyone in the chat room?
We got quite a few in here.
You got anyone? Who do you got?
Lester.
Brother Lester, how are you doing out there? Brother, you are definitely a brother here. I've talked to you before. We've told you that we are praying for you, that we worry about you, and we truly do. And it's always really super good to hear from you.
Brother Glenn.
Brother Glenn.
I don't know if his wife's with him or not, but Marina. She might be
Marina, Brother Glenn and Marina, huge hugs to both of you guys. We love you both.
Zachariah and Rhiannon.
And hopefully your family's there too. Big hugs to everybody there. I love the families that we're getting in here. It's so amazing.
The Grandma's
Grandma
here.
Yep, Grandma's here.
Carla.
And we big shouts to Carla. Big hugs to Carla.
And DJ and Charlie and Joey.
Yeah, I don't know if they're there, but all the clan. Hopefully you guys are all there. Much love to you guys. Hopefully your week is going well and everything is good.
Tyler.
Tyler's a homeboy. Tyler's a brother of ours. Much love. It's good seeing you.
Johanna.
Joanna. Hey, we've seen her a few times. She has commented on the stuff. Much love, dear sis. Super good to have you guys here. And yeah, much love from our clan to your clan. And, for those, again, just tuning in on this is the Yahoo and the Torah channel. This is all about Yah, and it will always be about Yah. Now, today is the Sabbath day. It is the 7th day of the month. It is the 12th day on our Creator's calendar, and it's the 7th day. And it is very, very important that we're keeping this. And I would like to touch on something, and I think it was Brother Glenn that helped us out as well. It was Brother Glenn and Emissary of Elohim when it came over this month, right? I was on a Torah calendar, and it just seems like everybody uses the Torah calendar. But when you actually look at the lights on the moon, and you actually see that the lights were delivered early, not even early, but right on time, we had our dates wrong. And I do believe that we do have our dates right. And I wanted to bring this up because I was thinking about this, because this week we celebrated Yom Kippurim, right? And that was on a Thursday, a 5th day of our Creator's calendar. And it was actually from the 9th on sunset to the 10th. Here's something I thought about afterwards, is that I thought about this because we have a preparation day on the 6th day, right? That's the day that our Creator has given us to prepare for this day today, the Shabbat. Now, if we were actually on the Torah calendar that was incorrect, I believe, the Yom Kippurim would have been on the 11th. So you would have had to prepare on the 10th. You would have had to prepare 2 days ago, because a high Shabbat for Yom Kippurim is treated as a Sabbath. And so we would have had 2 Sabbaths in a row, and we have actually had 2 Sabbaths in a row before. But I thought it would have been a little bit, hectic trying to prepare on the 10th for an 11th and a 12th, because the 11th you wouldn't have eaten food, and then the 12th we're not supposed to prepare anything on that day as well. So I just put that out there to you guys. I think we're on the right calendar, and I appreciate Brother Glenn and his Berean style help that he has. He's the wise old owl. I really, really appreciate this guy, and thank you, brother. Okay, so let us take a quick look at this. We have 2 sets of laws we're going to do today, because we're actually going to go over the laws of Messiah Yahushua. And this, my friends, is one of the most fruitful pieces of this entire reading is that we are able to write these laws on our hearts, mind, and souls. And we write them on our hearts, minds, and souls by, first and foremost, repeating them, right? We can just, when you sit and repeat something, it becomes muscle memory. It becomes something that we implant into us. And a commandment that our Creator has told us 53 times is that we must guard the laws, statutes, and commands. And so for those of you who are hanging with us right now, this is exactly what we are doing. We're going to repeat them, and we're going to try to get them into everyone's muscle memory so that when we are out in the real world, that we see great evil, all of a sudden it goes to us. Hey, this goes against the Torah. And this is what it's all about. Once we become foundationally strong in the Torah and understand the law, statutes, and commands, nothing is able to rock you. You can come up with the greatest deception ever known to man, and it will not rock you because you understand it. So, all right, are we ready here? Nicole is chuckling over in the chat room. What's going on?
Glenn says old owl, yes. Wise, not so much.
Oh, I think he's a wise old owl. I am not taking any wisdom away from you, brother. Okay, all right, guys. So let's begin on this. And like I told you guys before, I want you guys to kind of go over one possible thing. I will start. Be fruitful. What this means is, to me, one of the things right out of the gate, if we're fruitful, we're not one of those guys that sit on the couch 24/7, right? And this being fruitful can apply to absolutely everything into our life, including right now. I believe that we are being fruitful by going over these law, statutes, and commands. And that is the very first command that we have ever heard of is to be fruitful. And so that basically takes the guys sitting on the couches, the lazy guys that refuse to get off the couches, refuse to work, refuse to do anything, refuse to read their scriptures. Well, here we are. We're trying to be fruitful, and that's what I believe this means. Okay, number 2.
Multiply. If you are multiplying, you are going to make more people in this earth. You're going to replenish the earth. You're going to basically fill it up.
You would never be here today if we had not multiplied. You guys would everything you were saying today would never ever come to fruition. In fact, we would never ever be here had we not had this family. I guarantee the path that we would have gone would have not been where we are at. So they're very, very important. And so when we multiply, we look at the world that is, they really kill off their babies. They kill them off in these abortion clinics day after day after day. And, even in Israel, the people of Israel have abortion clinics that are open till 11:30 at night, that seems just even more evil than just a place that closes at 5, right? So continue on, Jade.
Replenish the earth. We're supposed to give back to the earth. We're supposed to make sure the earth is growing and make sure it's healthy.
Healthy and replenish the earth. What else do we have on that? We see that we level off rainforests, we level off everything we have. Man is extremely destructive. We just take from the resources that our Creator has given to us, and it's rare that we do replenish the earth, and it will regrow, and we can have all these resources, but we have to help replenish this. All right, subdue it.
Subdue it. Have dominion over the fish, fowl, and every living creature. Don't let the dogs take over you. You have to control them. Tell them when they're bad. Tell them stop animals if they're trying to attack you.
Yeah, that's a good thing to do, right? Yeah, if animals
have dominion over them. They shouldn't have dominion over you.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many different reasons and so many different things on it. But yeah, for us, that is one of the things. We have to alpha 10 pit bulls every day, so it seems a little wild in this house, no doubt. Okay, the herb bearing every tree is for food. That is something amazing. That's a promise of our Creator that He's given us everything, right? There's everything that is out there, and that's not saying that we should go eat poison ivy, right? It means that we should have intelligence but our Creator has given us all of this stuff that we can eat. So, hit it.
Man and woman should build their own families. Yeah, it's really self-explanatory. If you get married, you're supposed to build a family. That's what we're supposed to do. It's part of being fruitful and multiplying.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Master sin. So we're supposed to have dominion over sin. We are supposed to be able to control our sin so that we are not controlled by sin. And we shouldn't be sinning. We should be following His Torah. And if we are sinning, we are not mastering sin. We are not have control over sin.
Yeah, and if you don't master sin, by default, Hasatan masters you. Okay.
Every clean moving thing that lives shall be food for you. It's not pork. It's not clean. It's not food.
Yeah.
If it lives and it's clean, that is food for us.
Yeah, and that's very important. Everyone should understand Leviticus 11 is our dietary guidelines. That's what we have, we know of as food. If somebody considers swine or pig food, that's not food. That's not it. Okay, do not eat the blood. There's a lot of commandments right here, and this is something I was used to drinking, eating rare steaks, right? I love them, medium rare. How did they say it? With a little bit of help, the steak could recover. That's how bloody you wanted it. Yeah, and I was living in sin. There's life in the blood, and I don't know where I came up with that crazy carnivorous thing that everybody wants rare steaks, but we are told not to eat the blood. So cook those steaks well. Okay.
Walk before me, be perfect. You need to follow His Torah. You need to. If you're not walking in His Torah, you are walking against Him. You are not even walking near Him. You are walking non-perfectly.
Yep.
Yahuwah's covenant laws, statutes, and commandments is quoted here so many times. We need to follow and obey this because of how many times it's quoted, and Yahuwah wants us to obey His commands.
Yeah, and I've said this before. If I tell my kids something one time, they better do it. If they tell them twice and they don't do it, they're going to get swatted. But our Creator has told us 53 times, and I believe it's over 53 times, that we need to guard these laws, statutes, and commands. So it's got to be important. Okay.
Every male shall be circumcised 8 days old. We be in covenant with Yahuwah.
Yeah, and we should have our kids in covenant with Him. Okay, teach your children the commands and guard the way of Yahuwah. And that is very, very important. We're supposed to give our kids this joy. We're supposed to give our kids this instruction. And if we don't, we are derelict parents, and our kids will rise up. They will be in great evil. They will not know. And for those, like Zach and Rihanna, you guys have a beautiful chance at a young family, and you guys can just guard them and you can teach them the ways, and by the time they get older, they're just going to be warriors for Yah. It's so exciting when kids of Torah keeping parents have that benefit of that kind of a family. It's just amazing. Okay, remember Yahuwah's name for all generations. We've replaced in our Bible the name of God, and they have pagan names, and we have an Elohim Most High, and His name is Yahuwah, and it's Yod-Hed Vav-Hed, and some people say it's Yod-Hed Wav-Hed, and or it's Vav is the V and Wad is the W. But that's also English as well. But it's very close to what it should be. I am that I am. Behold the hand, behold the nail. And we need to speak it. We need to never forget it. Our Creator is more important than our wives, more important than our kids. It's more important than everything. And if we just don't even think about Him, He's not on our mind, then we're never going to get close to Him.
Keep the Passover, the Pesach. It's one of the most important feasts. It has some of the greatest significance with Yahushua dying for us as the Passover lamb. It is one of probably, if not the most important feast, it is probably one of the most important.
Yeah, it's a very important feast. Okay, Jade.
Keep the feast of unleavened bread, Matzah. It's a feast we're commanded to keep. It's remembrance of when the Israelites left Egypt.
Yep.
There's one Torah for the stranger and the Hebrew. That means that the same for us, same for the Gentiles. They can keep the Torah. It's not two separate things.
Yeah, and I mean, you could even say this. There's one Torah for the Christians and one for the Hebrew, right? Even though the Christians are definitely strangers to the ways of Yah, if they decide they want to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments, that this is for them as well. Sanctify all firstborn to Yahuwah. Everything firstborn is a Yah's, right? Everything, in fact, everything that we have is Yah's. And so this is a way of setting apart the firstborn and setting it to be redeemed, how Yah wants us to redeem this. And it's important stuff. It's something about the firstborn is very, very important. And so we definitely set them apart in a way, and we need to redeem them, according to Yah's laws.
There are no mighty ones before Yahuwah. He said He's jealous. He said He doesn't like it. It's just as when you pet one dog, the other dog wants petted as well. They get jealous. They start fighting over it. Yahuwah said there are no mighty ones before Him. And if you are celebrating a day that is not sanctified by Him, you're celebrating in a church with other people and full of paganism, full of pagan things, you are serving other mighty ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
You shall not make graven image. Don't put up idols. Don't worship idols. Don't worship material items. You shouldn't bow down in front of material items.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't need pictures of Yah. We don't need anything. Yah doesn't need any kind of stuff like that. Okay?
Do not bring Yahuwah's name to naught. Like saying God and Lord, that would be bringing His name to naught.
Yeah, even those pagan names, we wouldn't say that. And people swear all the time using a pagan name. But yeah, we do not bring Yah's name to naught. We don't swear by his name. I mean, if we do, it better be the right thing. It's very, very important that we hold the name of Yah's name to everything. Keep the Sabbath. Here we are. Everybody that is listening in on today, and I'm not saying that those who are not listening in aren't keeping the Sabbath, but it is a day, the seventh day, right? We have, everybody in this chat room and chat knows the seventh day. It is foreign to everybody else. It is a day of shopping to everybody else. It's the day that, the Catholics have made it, that it is definitely not a seventh day. The Christians say that Jesus is their Sabbath and they don't need any Sabbath and they can worship when they want, and they can do what they want. But that's not the way it works. That's not the way the commandments have been set up. Okay. Honor your parents. Very, very important. I will continue on with this because Kate kind of got lost, I guess, looking somewhere else. But this is one of these ones that when you bring your kids up in the Torah, they will honor you far more than not. And I can tell you that just simply by life experience here, that if these kids were not, if we were not in Torah in this house, this place would be a hellhole. It really would be. It would be vile. We'd have all sorts of evil stuff, and these kids would be all into some sort of horrible stuff. So continue on, Kate.
Do not kill. That's really self-explanatory. You should not be going around killing people. Yahuwah does not want blood in his land. He does not want people to be shedding innocent blood. There are times when he said to kill, and there are times he said not to kill, and you should not be going around killing your neighbor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't not break wedlock. Marriage is sacred, and that's what Yahuwah wants you to do. He wants to be two people and not break wedlock.
Yeah, don't be a disloyal housebreaker.
Do not steal. Pretty self-explanatory. Do not take things from other people.
Yep. Do not make false accusations against your neighbor. Again, these are all things that people, for the most part, if you are a good person, you would not be doing things like this. But it is something that our Creator cares about enough that he doesn't want people to bring false accusations and lies. You're a liar when you do that. You're a deceiver, and you're breaking commandments.
Do not covet anything of your neighbors. If you are coveting of your neighbors, you're in your mind, you're already taking it, you're stealing it, you're just wishing you would have it, and you're putting your mind to when it could be being put to something useful, and that coveting could lead to something like you stealing from your neighbor.
And it could also lead to adultery, right? If you covet your neighbor's wife, you're going to lust after her, and you're already breaking Messiah Yahushua's commandments. Okay?
Do not make an altar from rock a tool's touch. It's a command. We're not sure why, but it is a command.
Okay.
Do not go up to the altar by the steps. Not exactly
Again, those are we don't understand the commandments, but they are commandments, and we don't exactly have altars. So these are things probably for the land. Commandment 31: If a man steals cattle, he shall restore it 5 times. Very important, right? This is not. It happens, right? If somebody has to steal something to take whatever for whatever reason, you need to restore it, right? You need to make it right, and that's how you make it right with Yah, is by restoring it 5 times, and that can get a little expensive. You steal a cow and you have to restore 5 of them. That's important. Okay.
Yahuwah's laws for criminals. There are a certain set of laws for criminals when people are caught stealing, how much is stolen, or what the value of the property was, and how it needs to be repaid.
Yep.
You shall stone the witches, wizards, and mediums. It's a command. We don't want people practicing the demons or evil spirits.
Yeah, and it has a asterisk by it, Jade.
Yeah.
Maybe explain that. It has an asterisk,
yeah.
right? So that stuff
in
in
the
an
land.
asterisk means it's in the land, right? You can't go stone the witches, wizards, and mediums, or you take out a good third of the United States of America right out of the gate. Maybe half. I don't know. Okay, go ahead.
Do not lie with beasts. No bestiality.
Yeah, no bestiality. Don't be a freak. No sacrifices to other gods, right? There are no other gods, right? That's the number one thing. People don't understand. There are no other gods. Whatever you're sacrificing to is a piece of wood or a stick or
Something in
plastic thing. Or
some
something.
imaginary thing.
Yeah, it's an imaginary thing, and there's no life in it. And our Creator lives. Every breath of air that you take is that our Creator exists, and that is who we serve. Is not a pile of rocks or sticks or something.
Do not oppress the stranger, fatherless, or widow. It's really just a super good thing, but it should be already known morally. You don't attack these people; they're already broken. Why would you need to oppress them more than they're already oppressed, right? They're already going through troubles. They're already going through tribulations, and Yahuwah wants them to be protected. He cares for these people.
Yeah, and there's absolutely no age restriction on the widows. That's where we have issues with a couple of the books that Brother Paul writes. Brother Paul says a widow must be 60 years old. He qualifies them. But we don't have that anywhere. And so if you find a widow, you don't need to make sure she's 60 years old. You don't need to hurt them anymore. You need to do what our Torah says, which is to take care of them and love them. Okay.
Do not charge your brother interest. If your brother's poor, he's borrowing money from you. Don't charge him more and try to take away what he doesn't have. You should be helping your brother out when he needs help.
Yeah.
If you borrow your neighbor's raiment, return to him before sunset. If you're borrowing someone, return to him at like the set time. Don't like keep it for extra and then he'll really need it and he doesn't have it.
Yeah, and you're talking clothes, right? If you borrow your neighbor's clothes, the guy's going to need his clothes. Or you borrow his coat. Don't take off with his stuff. Okay. Do not curse the ruler of your people. And this is not talking about I don't know, what's that corpse guy who runs America?
Bo
Jiden. Yeah, one of those guys. That we're not talking about that. We're talking about rulers who are in covenant. We're talking about like righteous kings. We're talking about this, and so that's the command that you're not to curse them. I don't think you should be cursing them. We need to be praying for them, even if they're even evil ruler. You need to pray that Yah's hand takes care of the evil. Okay.
Do not eat what is torn of any beast. If you find some roadkill or you find something that's dead, there could be infections, there could be disease, and Yahuwah is just trying to protect you from the sickness. He is not trying to punish you to not eat food that you want to eat. He's just really trying to keep you alive. The next one is no false report. You don't want to go give false reports. You want to tell somebody did something. You could ruin reputations. You might end up in trouble. You might get a lot of people in other troubles.
Yeah, you're it's more than one thing. You're a liar. If you're bringing a false report, you're a liar.
Yeah, and you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't try to cause conflict if there's not truth.
Yep.
Do not follow a multitude of evil. Do not go with like the man of the nations. Do not be part of the world.
Yeah. Do not judge unrighteously against the poor, and do not judge unrighteously against the rich either. It's the same thing. Just because they are poor doesn't mean they are lesser beings. It just means that their life is afflicted more than the guy that's dressed it nice and taking care of it. And this is what you see in the rich man's world, is that you see the rich man, he has the gold, he makes the rules, and the poor people usually always get owned. But that it's the poor people and the broken that are making up the kingdom of the Shaimaim. Okay.
Bring back your enemy's cattle if you find it going astray. If you see your person's cattle, it does not matter if you hate them or not. You should bring it back. It is the right thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Help the animals of your enemy. If you see an animal of your enemy that's fallen or needs help, help him out, because the animal doesn't have conflict with you. He doesn't hate you, but the other guy might. But help the animal. The animal's a creature of Yahuwah.
And a lot of people will say that our Creator is a megalomaniac. They say he's crazy because he kills all these animals, right? He's killing the animals. But yet, right here, he has a commandment that he says he helped the animals of your enemy, right? Even though you're going to be angry at the guy, it has nothing to do with the animal's fault. And so if you're sitting there allowing like a 500-pound load on the back of a donkey, and the neighbor's like trying to shove him up, we're supposed to help them up and to help and take care of them. And it's amazing that our Creator loves absolutely everything so much, including his animals, that he would have a command such as this. It's just a really good path of righteousness that we should be doing. Okay.
Stay away from rumors and gossipers. Stay away from those people, because you'll soon become a rumor and gossiper.
Yeah, stay off Facebook. That's some sort of bad place. Take no bribes. When you take a bribe of anything, you become corrupted. You become corrupted by that what you've taken, and you all of a sudden you will not do what you should do. And the entire world is like that, right? It's all these politicians. You do not make it to the end of a kingship or a president or a politician. Every single one of them, by the time you make it to that level, you are already owned 1,000 times over, because you've already taken 1,000 bribes, and so you owe everybody all these favors, and so you'll never ever be a righteous leader at that point. Okay.
Do not oppress a stranger. Love the stranger. Back then, a stranger was considered someone outside of the Israel, someone outside the Torah, and we were told to love them, because that was the way we can get them into Torah, into the land of Israel, was by love, by teaching love. Because if you're teaching with hate, if you're teaching with anger, you're going to push people away.
Yeah, and when you look at the religion of Judaism, when you look at Jews, people are like, well, those are the people of God. That's the people who God has chosen. Maybe back in the very day, but those people ended up in captivity. The Jews and Judaism, in their 25 other books called the Talmud, which violates Deuteronomy 4:2, it says that people outside of Judaism are dogs. They're called goyim. In fact, they're lesser than humans. They actually have laws in that evil 25 book that you can steal from goyim, you can rip them off, There's horrible stuff that they do, and it breaks Commandment 48 here because you are oppressing a stranger. You're supposed to love them. Calling them names, having them as some third-rate citizens is not doing that. So for those who think that joining the Jews or becoming part of Judaism is the way to keep our Father happy, that's not it. Judaism is a man-made religion that Messiah Yahushua was fighting. He fought the entire thing. So we need to love everybody. We're not to call them names, and they're not third-rate citizens. People are broken. We got to hold them all up. We got to love them all. It doesn't matter who they are, what color they are, where they're from, how dirty they are. We need to give them big hugs and love them. Okay, next.
Give your land rest in the seventh year. You need to let your land get the nutrients back, let it have time to regrow itself and become better again.
Yeah, and as his commandment, Yah provides. If we are on the right schedule and we are in the land, your land, you will get more on the 6th year that takes you through to the 8th year. So it's really amazing what Yah does is it makes his land super growers. All right.
Do not mention any pagan names. Do not say like any of those things. You could be calling demons. Those could be the names of demons. The demons could come and attack you.
Yeah, and we're saying weekdays. When we say Monday, Tuesday, that's a pagan name. All of that stuff on there. Same for the months of the year. That's why we have first day, second day, third day. We have first month, second month, third month. We don't have names. All of the names that are, when people call it like Aviv, things like that, that was all Babylonian style stuff. Our Creator does not have names for new months and things of that nature.
Keep the feast of Yahuwah. That's his important feast. He says, keep them. The days are not Christmas and Easter. Those are not the days he has chosen. Those are not the days he set apart. He set apart his feast, the feast we have, the 3 in the spring and the 3 in the fall.
Yep.
Do not cook your goat in his mother's milk. It's a command. You don't want to take your goat and put it in his mother's milk.
Yeah, that's a pagan stuff, I'm pretty sure.
Obey the messenger Yahuwah sends before you. If Yahuwah tells you something, listen to him. Listen to what he has to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Do not bow down to other Elohim. Never, ever, ever, ever get on your knees to another individual, to anyone else other than Elohim Most High. And that's with a capital E, that's Yahuwah. We do not bow to men. We bow to Yah, and we bow to the King Messiah Yahushua. And that's who we do. And we're not bowing to Messiah Yahushua because he is the most high Elohim. But he is an Elohim. He is a mighty creator. And that is who our king is. And that is who we need to be respectful of. And it doesn't make him our creator. It makes him the son of our creator. Okay.
Make no covenant with other Elohim or outsiders of the land.
And we didn't serve Yahuwah, and that goes without saying. Serve Yahuwah in everything that you do in your life, in the world. Right? There's nothing more important than making it right with Yah in everything that we do. Okay, make no covenant with other Elohim or outsiders of the land, Kate.
Yeah, you don't want to make any covenant with Elohim. That you would be breaking the command where it says no Elohim comes before Yahuwah. Yeah,
and that's why you do not get married to outside. You don't mix your beliefs. That's why if you do not have a woman or a man who is in Torah, you would not make a covenant with them. You would not become married to them because they are outsiders to Yahuwah, and they will lead you astray. They will have you doing other things, and it's real easy to get led astray. Jade?
I already knew both of these. Do not make or use his anointing oil on a person, and do not make or use his perfume on a normal person. These are special things the Levites were to be anointed with and to put on themselves. And Yahuwah doesn't want us to make these mixtures or put them on us. They're holy, and we are not holy.
Yeah, and they actually give us a recipe for that, and so you could mix them up, and you could get yourself into a lot of trouble. Okay.
Do not eat the fat is something that Yahuwah does not want us to do. He is just like pork. Do not eat the fat.
Yep, don't eat the fat. Do what you say you're going to do. Sounds very obvious, sounds very logical. It's what real men should do. If you say you're going to do something, that your word is your bond. Most people don't live like that, but that is what our Creator says. Do what you say you're going to do.
Return word to your neighbors. If your neighbor has told you to watch over something and you put it in your garage or something of that sort, or you know that something is missing and you know where it is, you should return it to your neighbor.
Yep.
Obey Yahuwah's laws. There's a big command for us. A lot of stuff that we shouldn't eat, stuff that we can't eat, and we need to obey it because Yahuwah has a certain reason for everything. And he's not going to tell us just for the fun of it not to eat the pork.
Women's time of separation.
Stay away from your woman during the time of separation. We don't need to go too far into that. We've definitely gone into that. You guys can go into this before. A woman needs time to heal. She needs time to go through her stuff to live her curse, essentially, is what she's living. And she doesn't need to be afflicted more. And she doesn't need to. There's actually guidelines where she's supposed to have her own little house during this time that she can just kind of go be her own woman there and kind of deal with this stuff. Yeah, rest. And you don't have to deal with the guys in the house. Okay. Obey Yahuwah's hygiene laws. Very important. He has a whole set of them there for us. And it is a big chapter. And even though it's very small, it doesn't show much here. If you go into these verses, there is a lot. And you can actually go at the top of the site and you can go to the full list. And we'll give you all of the verses listed out. You can see them all. But there's a lot. And we need to be clean, as well as our hearts need to be clean. Our souls need to be clean. We need to be clean in the eyes of Yah. Okay.
Keep the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippurim. We just completed that. I think that's over for everyone on the right calendar or close to the right calendar. That should be over for everyone. But that's the day you're going to fast. That is the day you're going to afflict your soul and make atonement for your sins.
Yep.
Right. Do not uncover the nakedness of your family. Yeah, they're your family. You shouldn't be doing that.
Not take your own sister for wife.
Don't do that either,
yeah.
Dad.
Not a good deal. Okay, do not lie with a woman in her uncleanness. It kind of goes with the separation stuff, but there was another guideline to this. And again, stay away from your woman during her time. Okay?
Do not sacrifice your children to Moloch. Look, you shouldn't be sacrificing your children to anything, but you shouldn't be sacrificing to other gods. There should be no sacrifice to other gods, whether it's your children or not. There's no sacrifice to other gods.
You sound biased. Are you biased?
I'm very biased. Don't sacrifice your children to gods, other gods.
Slow down. Can anyone? Because nobody hears.
They can hear. He's just talking really fast.
Everyone goes
They
real
can
fast.
hear.
We're a bunch of computer people, and so we talk real fast. We know that we need to slow down a little bit, so we need to. Okay, let's go on. Do not be a sodomite. Okay, that is.
Just don't.
Yeah, don't. It's man and woman, not man and man or woman and woman. That's just don't do it. Okay.
Be holy. Yahuwah wants you to be holy. Wants you to be perfect before him. He wants you to obey his laws. And when you are obeying his laws, you are keeping his commands, not breaking them. You are being as holy as you can be.
Do not reap the corners of your field, or you shall not glean your vineyard. Do not take everything. Leave some for the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow.
Yep. Do not deal falsely or defraud your neighbor. Seems easy enough, right? Yah does not want us to rip people off. It's not what Yah is. He's not dirty. He's not a cheat. He is holy in everything that he does, and his ways, you can see how his ways are because he has things like this, right? Continue on.
Do not lie or be a liar. Lies can destroy the biggest part of people's lives. It can ruin people's lives more than anything else is lies.
Yeah.
False things that are spread that are not true. People may get their reputation back, but it's always in the back of people's minds of what happened, and it never changes the way people look at you if you end up ruining someone's life with a lie.
Once a liar, usually always a liar. It's hard to get rid of it. That kind of a thing, and we shouldn't be there. It should be very, very important to us that we keep truth the truth. Okay, Jake.
Pay your workers for the day's wage they are due. So you want to pay them. You don't want to let them go home hungry. If they work for you, you should be paying them for what they are due.
Yeah, because they'll cry out to Yah, and they're hungry, and you have not fed them, and you had the ability to feed them, and they did not. Okay.
Do not harm the disabled. I mean, it seems pretty obvious. We wouldn't want to harm the disabled.
You're a terrible person if you do harm the disabled.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you should be ashamed of yourself if you hurt the disabled. Okay, do not endanger your neighbor. Don't drop a 400-pound tree onto his house, and don't do things that will hurt him. That's the whole point, right? Our Creator cares so much about everything, and you could see this. Again, don't hurt him, your neighbor. Okay.
Do not hate your brother. Yeah, that's pretty obvious. That's just don't hate him. You're not loving your neighbor if you hate your brother. You're not following the commands. You're breaking part of the commands already.
And you're not even supposed to come to Yah in prayer if you have animosity and hate with your brother. You're supposed to leave your sacrifice at the door, go make your way, and then come back and deal with it once you have fixed your heart.
Rebuke your neighbor for sin. If you see your neighbor sinning, you're supposed to go and, hey, brother, you're sinning, don't do this. And if he's still sinning, you're supposed to go find some witnesses and then bring him before the council.
Yep.
Love your neighbor as yourself. If you should not hate your brother, you should love him like you love yourself.
Absolutely. Don't diverse your cattle. And we didn't know what this meant, but this means that you do not have like a donkey and an oxen, or like a small animal and a large animal together. And that's, again, Yah's taking care of his animals.
Do not mingle your seed. You're not supposed to mix your seeds together. There's a way that things are growing. that are there supposed to grow. If you mix them the way they are grown together, then you are destroying the way they are going to grow up the next season.
Yep. And even that season, it will be that season, because when the bees come to pollinate that stuff, if you mix all this kind of stuff together, you'll have really poor looking food. Okay, go on.
Do not mingle linen and wool. It's just something you don't do it for our own health. Yahuwah has it for a reason.
Do not lie with a taken woman.
That's pretty
Anything
obvious.
for that?
That's pretty obvious.
Eli's getting these hard ones for the youngster here. Okay, do not eat the fruit of the trees for 3 years. We're supposed to let even Yah's, he loves his trees, he loves his creations, and he knows that if you take the fruit of the tree within 3 years, you take the power of the root away from it. And so he says, let them go up for 3 years, and then you'll have powerful trees.
Do not practice sorcery. There's a lot of forms of sorcery. You're going to have to probably research what form of sorcery. You'll figure it out as you go, but you should not be committing any sorcery. If you know you're in sorcery, you should quit sorcery.
Yeah, you should not. Yeah, don't do anything with sorcery. Don't be near them. Don't be doing anything at all. And if you figure out that you're somehow in sorcery, time to repent, big time. Okay.
Do not round your beard at the corner of your head. Yahuwah wants you to have a beard, and he wants you to have hair. So
Yeah, don't be a beta male. Okay.
Do not cut yourself to the dead. Yeah, might hurt.
Yeah, they're dead, and you're sitting there cutting yourself.
you shouldn't destroy your body because someone's dead. Yahuwah gave you a body, and he didn't want you to cut it or to give you scars.
Yeah. Do not get tattoos. Use a piece of paper instead of your skin.
Do not prostitute your daughter. It's just an evil thing. You're not supposed to do it. If you're doing that, you're a terrible human being, and you are
Horrible
a pagan.
father. What a terrible father you would be. Jeez. Okay, continue. Do not defile your temple.
Which could be your body, or
That is your body. Don't defile your temple. Your body is what we've been given from Yah. It's what we need to protect. It houses our soul. There's nothing more important than the protection of our soul. And if you defile your body, you're going to let demons in. You're going to let evil stuff in. It's a bad road to go.
Do not consult the medium. You'll get cursed for it just like Saul did.
Yeah, and you don't need a medium. You just pray. Ask the Ruach HaKodesh. Yah will help you. Respect your elders. You gotta take care of your elders. And this is a very important thing, especially as your parents are aging. For me, and it's a lot of times I'm learning a lot of stuff in my later part of life about respecting my elders, about having more communication with them, and none of us would be here if it wasn't for our elders. And it's not just talking about our family, intermediate family, but it's old people. Old people have a hard time with life. They have a hard time getting to the store. They have a hard time doing all this stuff. And allowing them to struggle like they are is not respecting your elders. Taking your family, your mother and dad, and sticking them in a nursing home and letting some state workers or somebody else make them comfortable. That's not what it's about. Down in South America, there's no such I've seen them. I can't say there's no such thing, but for the majority of the place, you don't go stick your family in a nursing home. You wouldn't do that. We see really, really, really old people who basically are just part of the whole family, right? The entire family takes care of them. That's how it should be, right? There was never a place in the scriptures where we're supposed to drop our family off and leave them in an old folks home and let them die off. Okay.
have correct weights and measures. Don't rip people off. Just don't do it.
Yeah, and there's a billion ways to do it, and people have done it all their lives, all our lives. There's always invalid weights and measurements. You're always getting ripped off. And the thing about this is, most of the time, you'll never know you're being ripped off. Yah wants the hidden not to be hidden. He does not want you to rip people off and take advantage of his people. Okay, continue on.
Do not walk in manners and nations. Don't be like the world. Don't be going to parties. Don't be hanging out with the world. You shouldn't be watching TV, movies. It's something you shouldn't do.
Or TV, or any of that stuff. If you're watching television programming, it's all from Satan. It's completely fake. If it's on the news, it's a complete lie. If they're saying half the world is dropping dead, they're lying. Maybe not now. Continue on.
Keep the feast of first fruits, Shavuot, and the Omer count. It's a feast of Yahuwah. Keep it.
Yeah, keep the Feast of Trumpets, Yom Teruah. That is a very, very important day. We should be out blowing our trumpets, and it could very well potentially be a day Messiah Yahushua comes back when his people are sitting out there blowing their trumpets, but it's yet another feast. Most people have no idea it's there. Okay, Kate?
Keep the Feast of Sukkot, Shemini Atzeret. It's a feast that's actually coming up this coming week, and we should all be keeping it.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you blaspheme the name of Yahuwah, you shall be put to death.
Kill him, for sure.
If you kill your neighbor's animal, you must give him another. Repay for things you have done.
Yeah, repay injury for injury. If you have injured somebody, don't allow that to be. Do everything you can to take care of that. And we don't have an eye for an eye these days, but you can definitely take care of somebody you've hurt. Don't just hurt someone.
Honor the Jubilee year. The Jubilee year is every 50 years. We are supposed to return the things that were basically sold. The property was to restore it to the people's inheritance, and that's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, there's not supposed to be losing your house or losing all this stuff. If you're going to lose your house, you lose it for tops for like 6 years. You get it back on the 7th. And that's the way Yah has set this up. We get into trouble, but Yah has set a way for his people that we don't get owned and lose everything we have.
Confess your sins to Yahuwah and repay who you have trespassed against. As always do, we need to be confessing our sins so that we can get forgiven, and we need to go and ask for forgiveness from those who we've trespassed against.
The Torah being a Nazarene if you want to sanctify yourself to Yahuwah.
Yeah, and make sure you guys are getting a little close and speaking up, so everyone can hear. Wear tzitzits on the four corners of your garments. Tzitzits are for all of the children of Yashrael, men, women, and children. It's a blue cords that are on the four corners of us, and it is told that when you see them, you will think about Yah's ways. You will think about his laws. You will think about his commandments, and it's very, very important. Nicole, what you got?
We just have somebody that just new joined.
Hey.
Change as always.
Change as always. Hey, good to see you, my friend. Hopefully you are good. Thank you for joining in. Hopefully you'll stick around for a little bit. These are the laws of our Creator. Okay, next.
The laws of whoever touches a corpse. Things for uncleanness, things for showering, things for getting yourself cleansed and back into the camp.
Yeah, and we can actually do that stuff because it talks about ashes of a red heifer. We don't have any of that, and we don't have Levitical priesthood, so this one should probably, some of that should be in the land. Okay, continue on.
Follow Yahuwah's law and inheritance. There's a certain way of inheritance. You're supposed to get stuff, and you should obey how he had planned.
Torah of keeping your oath to Yahuwah. If you make an oath to Yahuwah, keep it. Do not go against it.
109 is when in the land, the laws of a murder and victims' families. It's again, this is how they dealt with things of this nature. It is in the land, so we can't do it, but it is something we should know and how to deal with this kind of stuff. Okay.
Do not add or take away from the word. If you're adding or taking away, you're breaking the commandments. You are adding a burden to yourself. You're adding, and if you are taking away, you are destroying what Yahuwah has told you to do. Next one is guard your soul. You're supposed to protect your soul. You're supposed to keeping the Torah, letting the demons and devils get a hold of you so that you lose your soul. You want it's the most important thing, and you need to protect it.
Yep.
Learn to fear Yahuwah, revere him, and obey him.
Yeah, and for those just joining us or those who actually join us later and actually watch this stuff later, we are simply going over the laws, statutes, and commands of our Creator. What you're seeing right here is what the majority of the world has tossed on the cross, as they say, and they say they don't apply to us today. And so if you're reading through these and you've chosen not to keep these laws, statutes, and commands, my question is always, which law gives you the hardest time with? Which law is too much for you? Because these are good commandments, right? Fearing Yahuwah, guarding your soul. Next one here. You shall love Yahuwah with all your heart. A lot of people don't understand this, right? If you claim that you love God, Yahuwah, with all your heart, mind, and soul, but yet you reject his words, then you are rejecting him by default. It's the same way with my boys here. If they reject the words that I say, they are rejecting me. It's not that they're just disobeying, but they're rejecting what I wish that they would do, and it's very important.
The Quran says we need to seriously consider our vows, promises before speaking them. Remember the man who vowed a sacrifice as the first thing that came out of his door of his home upon his return.
Killed his daughter. It's extremely important. And that was an interesting vow. Definitely an interesting vow.
Not sure what he expected to come out the door.
I don't know what he expected to come out of there. Maybe the mother-in-law. I don't know. Continue on.
No one did that ever again.
Yeah, that was bad news. Bad idea. Okay, continue on, guys.
We are in 114.
Yep.
Bind the laws upon your hand and in the frontlets between your eyes.
Okay, and this is one of these commands that it says bind the laws upon your hand and the frontlets between your eyes. We know that we can't tattoo on our hand. We know that we can't really technically get them before our eyes. Gentlemen, what does it mean to put them from the frontlets of your eyes?
It means to study them. It means to keep them on your heart, mind, and soul at all times, to be remembering them.
If something is at the frontlets of your eyes, what does that mean?
You see it all the time.
Yeah, you can't get away from it. It'd be like sitting at maybe at the end of your nose, and everywhere you see it, you have like a little Torah sign at the end of your nose, and you are able to see the Torah through everything that we do. Okay, write the laws on your doorposts. Very, very important, right? We want to. You're supposed to have them in everything, and that's not saying it is saying to put them on your doorpost, but where you have them is where you remember them at. And if you have them all over, you've written them on your hand and your frontlets, you've written them on your door, you're not going to forget them. And this is the most important thing to anything in life. It's not your car keys. It's not remembering the bills that are due. It's remembering that the laws, statutes, and commands are what we should be living our life in. It's what we should be bathing in. It should be our entire existence. Our clothing should be about it. Everything that we have is the laws, and we have to keep these, and we have to make sure they're important.
And I almost think with doorposts, it's more like a protection thing too. Like he protects the house.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it'd be like Zitzi's probably. Okay, go ahead, guys.
Do not tempt Yahuwah. You shouldn't be tempting Yahuwah. Yahuwah will strike you down. That's why you don't want to tempt Yahuwah. He's powerful of all everything, control everything, and you tempt him, he's not going to be very happy with you.
Yeah, you don't want to tempt Yah.
Do what is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah, meaning like all these laws, do them.
That is what is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah. If you're trying to keep this command and you're eating bacon, if you're eating pig, if you're eating all that kind of stuff, that's not what is right in the eyes of Yahuwah. And he's going to frown upon this, and he might give you a free pass for a little bit, but it won't be forever. Okay, do not be afraid of your enemies. Yah is with us. Yah will protect us. No matter what is happening, especially in these what we consider probably the end days, it doesn't matter because Yah is with us. He will protect us. He will guide us. And it's going to get a little bumpy, but Yah is with us. Okay, go on, guys.
Remember Yahuwah. You're supposed to remember him. If you are forgetting him, then you've forgotten him.
Okay.
Circumcise your heart. You're supposed to basically purify your heart and being covenant with Yahuwah. Your heart is like what controls it all, so you want to be circumcise your heart.
Cleave to Yahuwah, be with him at all times by keeping his Torah and obeying him.
Okay, swear by his name or not at all. I mean, that's one thing.
Yeah,
So,
basically, when you make an oath, you swear by Yahuwah's name because you can't swear by your own head because you can't control whether you live or die.
yeah, you can't add one statute to your thing by doing anything. So continue on.
Destroy graven images. If you get a graven image, there's a graven image that ended up in your possession. You need to destroy it. You need to burn it. You need to get rid of it to clear yourself from the curses of Yahuwah.
And I would say one of those crosses that you hang around your neck is a graven image, right? That's it's like hanging an electric chair around your neck or something, and then like, hey, look at this. Okay, 124. Do not make an idol of Yahuwah as the pagans do to their Elohim. Right? We've talked about this. Yah is not in wood. He's not in stone. He's all around us. He's the maker of everything. He doesn't need you to make a little trinket of him at all. Continue on.
Rejoice in all Yahuwah has blessed you with. Yeah, you're supposed to rejoice. You're supposed to be happy. You're supposed to praise him for what he has given to you. He's given us all a lot.
Especially in the trials and tribulations, especially when the storms come, especially when life is beating us completely down, that's when we absolutely must rejoice that Yah will have the last laugh. He has the power to control absolutely everything, and we are being tested. We will be tested, but we must rejoice in all Yahuwah has blessed us with. Okay.
All right. Do not do what is right in your own eyes. If you do something that's right in your own eyes, it could be sin. You must do what is right in Yahuwah's eyes, not in your own.
And how do you do what's right in Yahuwah's eyes?
By following Torah, by weighing it against the Torah. Does it fit the Torah? If it doesn't, if it contradicts the Torah, then it is wrong.
Right. Okay.
Do not hearken to the words of false prophets. If they tell you to go and follow their Elohim, that they are false prophets. If what they say is going to happen does not happen, they are false prophets, and do not follow them.
Yep. Kill the false prophets. And then, I'll go on to the next one because these are two things that are asterisks, three of them, that we can't do, but in the land we would have gladly done, because it says that do not listen and kill those that try to turn you away from Yahuwah, even if they are family members. Those are very hard words for people to understand and for everyone to grasp, but it is such a big thing that if somebody is coming and teaching you another doctrine that is outside of the laws, statutes, and commands of our Creator and the faith of Messiah Yahushua, they are false. They are bad. And back in the day, you would have killed them. And then it's the same with the city has turned away from Yahuwah, and the city, you're supposed to judge that city. You're supposed to kill the entire city. It's never ever supposed to be lived in again. It's supposed to be like a dunghill, just destroy it all. Okay.
Do not make any baldness between your eyes for the dead. I don't know how you would do that unless you have like a unibrow, I think. I don't know how you make baldness between your eyes.
I don't know.
That's a bug your eyes.
It says, do not make any baldness between your eyes for the dead. Regardless, the dead, they dead. He dead.
Yeah,
they're not. It doesn't
There's
matter.
no need to cut yourself. Mourning is enough for
Yeah,
the dead.
it's there. Yeah, mourning for the dead. You don't need to cut yourself. You don't need to shave your eyebrows or whatever it is they're talking about with this. Just mourn like normal. Okay, 132.
You shall not eat any abominable thing. Abominable things are unclean foods. Yahuwah says not to eat them.
Yep.
You shall give to a stranger clean food that dies of itself, but you shall not eat it. If something just dies somehow, like tips over and dies, you can give it to the stranger, but you do not eat it because it died by itself.
Yeah, and we have laws that we're not supposed to do it. This is one of these weird laws again that we were like, wow, this is kind of weird, but it's it's basically helping the stranger out. It would help the stranger out. I mean, obviously, if the thing is like died, 15 days earlier or something, you should probably tell them it's not a good thing to eat. You might
throw it away.
Yeah, you might get sick. Okay, give tithe of your increase of the seed year by year. This is the only tithe that we really truly have. We when we are giving money to a 501c3 church or money to somewhere else, that is not what Yah has as tithing. And all of the preachers and teachers, and you don't have a church that can't exist without people giving money, and they give their money on the day they're actually it's a Sabbath day. Well, then it's not really a Sabbath day; it's the first day. But they're giving their money and they're giving it to a company, right? If you are a 501c3, that means you are under an IRS special protection code that you do not. There's certain things you can say and certain things you cannot say. Like during the beginning of 2019. No preachers were able to say anything about anything that was going on anywhere because they were under the 501c3. They would lose their 501c3 status, which means they would have to pay their taxes. And instead of getting free money like they're getting, they would have to pay taxes. And nobody wanted to do that. And so they let everybody burn starting in the year 2019. And again, those with eyes to see and ears to hear, that's what I'm speaking of. Okay.
Laws of the end of the 7-year release. There was a time when things were released. People were supposed to be released. There were things at the end of 7 years that Yah wanted people to be restored to.
Yeah, their houses, things of that nature. Okay.
Do not borrow from the nations. You shouldn't go to the other nations. You should stay inside the Yisrael, because the other nations will try to take money from you. They'll try to rip you off, and they're not under the same laws you have.
Yep.
Do not harden your heart, nor shut your hand from the poor. Help the poor when they need it. Do not turn yourself away from them.
Yeah, and that's people are, when you have a 7-year release, in year 6 somebody comes to you for money, you're not going to get that money back. You're going to have to release that. And so people are hard like that, and so you got to love the poor no matter what. Guard month 1 of Yahuwah's calendar. It's all of Yah's stuff, right? And so he tells us why are we guarding month 1, gentlemen?
Because that is where the month begins, where we have the feast of Passover, and then we have the feast of Matzah.
Okay,
That's
thank
all
you.
month 1.
Yep. All right, Jade.
3 times a year, all males shall appear before Yahuwah. Back in the day, I think they had to come before the temple, but since we don't have the temple, we can we do what we best we can.
Yeah, and they were supposed to go to Jerusalem.
But that isn't the holy place right now. That's not a place where Yahuwah's dwelling.
No, Yah's definitely not hanging there with those guys.
You shall make judges and officers in all your gates. That'd be righteous judges and righteous officers who can judge righteously.
Yep. Do not plant Asheroth poles near the altar, or Asheroth poles ever. I mean, that means you are a pagan. That means you're an evil person. There's Christmas trees. That is pagan. Mistletoe. That's pagan. All of that stuff. Everything there is all pagan. Okay, continue on.
Any man or woman that has done wicked things in your gates, they shall be taken out and stoned.
Okay, that's how you deal with evil back in the day. And notice it has an asterisk there. We can't take the wickedness out and unfortunately kill it, but there will be a day when we can do just that. Okay.
There must be 2 or 3 witnesses. So basically, there's an occasion or something happens. There should be 2 or 3 people there being a witness to it. It can't just be 1 versus 1. It needs to make sure that other people there witnessing to the fact that something happened.
Hearken unto the prophet Yahuwah has chosen. If Yahuwah is like a prophet that doesn't tell you to go out to follow to Elohim, who tells you to follow Yahuwah and their things come right, that is a true prophet. The Yahuwah told us to follow.
Yeah, and there's a test, prophet test of the Deuteronomy, and fortunately, if they fail it, you're supposed to kill them. But if they turn you against any other Elohim, or if they tell you something is going to happen, it didn't happen, that is how to test the prophets. And most of them will fail. Most of the prophets will fail.
Do not remove your neighbor's property line. Do not take their property and move it. That's just a wrong thing to do. You don't.
It's cheating people. Yah doesn't want that. Okay, Jade.
How to deal with false witnesses among Torah keepers. There's little laws of how to deal with people that witness falsely among Yisrael, among those who keep the Torah.
It's a good one for Eli to read.
The first child is to get double portions.
That ain't you. Okay, what does that mean?
Just the first child, he gets more than any other child because he is the firstborn.
Why is that?
She's the firstborn.
So he's supposed to delegate it correctly.
He's supposed to.
help out the
Yes.
small ones.
That,
He's
and they're
supposed to do better.
sanctified.
They're sanctified, and they should be doing double the work as anyone else, right?
Yeah,
No.
absolutely.
No? What do you mean, no, Jade? What do you mean, firstborn? What are you talking about?
It doesn't say do, they have to do all the work.
Well, shouldn't it be part of that whole
I
thing?
completely agree.
I agree. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Everyone. Okay, here we go. The law of the wayward son. What is that one, boys?
That's where they take him out, and I think they stone him if he's a
Oh,
drunk.
yeah, this is the drunkard one. Yeah, you need to fix that. I don't know what the law of the wayward son is. That's if he's a drunkard, right? We kill him.
Yeah, it's got an asterisk next to it, so you know it's.
Yeah, that's the one. If he's a drunkard, and that doesn't mean if the guy
unfixable.
gets drunk one time that you go kill this guy. It means that this guy has a long history of this.
This isn't a child.
Yeah, it's not a child. It's a man. It is an adult man that can't stop drinking. He's probably beating his family and stuff and all the time. And that's how Yah would deal with that kind of evil in the land. Okay, if a man is hung to death, he shall not remain all night. Yah does not want people swinging in the wind during the night.
If your brother's cattle or clothes are lost and you find them, you must return them. If your neighbor has lost something, you need to return it. It's a good thing to do. We've seen this law before. But now we have clothes as well. If anything of your neighbor is lost, and you return it.
Okay, Jade, are you with us?
Yep. A woman should not wear what pertains to a man, or a man wears what pertains to a woman.
No high heels, men. That's bad.
If you find a bird's nest with the mother and the babies or the eggs, take the babies, but not the mother. So there's more, so they can actually reproduce. Don't try and make them go extinct.
Yeah, you kill everything. You take the eggs and the mother. That's not how Yah wants to do it. If you build a house with a flat roof that is able to be lived on, you must put a railing around it. Don't let people flip off your roof and die.
No.
That's not how Yah wanted it. Okay?
Laws for the accuser and the accused in purity of relationships.
What is that? Yeah, what is
that? A lot
that?
of stuff, basically, it's marriage stuff, and if someone says stuff not pure when they are married, there was a way to tell they had a huge process, and if they weren't pure, they got stoned.
Yeah. Okay. Next.
If a man has a relationship with an engaged woman, both should be killed.
Okay, Eli, let's kick
If
it
an
up.
engaged woman is raped, she is not charged with crime, but the man shall die.
Yep. If a man forces himself upon an undefiled woman, he must pay the father and take her to be his wife forever and not divorce her. Okay? Do not be a prostitute.
Do not use dirty money. You may eat from your neighbor's vineyard or grain, but you may not take it out of the field. Basically, eat what you need till you're full, but don't carry it away.
Yeah, don't steal his food.
The laws of divorce, you can divorce her if she is adultery, but there's no other reason to divorce her other than that.
So I can divorce your mother, but she cannot divorce me. Is that right?
I think that's how the law works.
Supposedly.
Nice.
I don't know, but I
Nice.
guess so.
You hearing this, wife?
I hear it.
All right. Newly married man should stay home for 1 year to be with his wife. He's supposed to consecrate the family, bring the family up, bond the family. The guys that go to war and end up dead, he'll never get to live in his house or be with his wife. Okay.
Do not take a person's millstones for a pledge. That's how he makes his food. Can't make his food, right? If a man is found kidnapping, he shall die. Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you lend your brother, do not enter his house to get your payment. He must bring it to you. Return his clothing before sunset if that was his pledge.
Guys, it's actually starting to rain here early, so I don't know how this is going to go. If it gets too crazy, I guess we'll end it, but we're trying to continue on. We really want to do some Bible reading with you guys, so it's going to get rainy. Okay, next. Where are we at? Do not oppress a hired servant that is poor and needy. Okay?
Every man shall be put to death for his own sin. Do not go back for the forgotten sheep in the field. Leave it for the stranger. Father, so there's a typo there.
Yeah, there's a typo there. Do not got back. We're from the trailers, folks. Okay. You cannot give a man more than 40 stripes for his judgment of his wickedness.
Do not muzzle an ox. Oh, do not muzzle your ox when he treads out grain.
Why?
Probably he can't breathe. He's opening his mouth to breathe.
That's terrible. Okay.
That's abuse.
Yeah. If your brother dies and has no child, you shall take his wife in the name of the firstborn after your brother. Very important. And still, that is something you could do today.
If a woman comes to defend her man and grabs other man's privates, you shall cut off her hand.
And we've discussed that quite a bit. I won't go into detail of that, but it is Yah's commandments. Okay.
At the end of 7 years, you are to read the Torah at the feast of Sukkot.
Okay, so that is it. This one actually we went slow on this. And I think, let's just go into our reading because I don't know how long we have without our roof here. So we're going to do our handy dandy split screen. All right, thanks guys. That's good. Okay, there we go.
All right, we're done rocking the table.
Yeah, done rocking the table. And then here we go. So we are in chapter 3. of this. Now, can everyone in the chat, can you guys still hear us? Is the roof making too much noise as of yet?
Nobody's saying anything yet, but the Grand says we're here through sunshine or rain. Tyler says the rain is a blessing. Water is a gift from Yah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a huge blessing here. There's lots of water. Okay. All right, guys, let's do this. And here we go.
Changes always says they can still hear.
Okay, good. Here we go. So this is, guys, this is the top version of this that we're using. This is called the Targum. And this is something that we kind of got into last week. And I have not read this. We have read parts of this, the beginning of it, to see what it's like. We have people that swear by it. We have people that say, no, you can't, it's not right. So what we're doing is we're actually reading on the bottom here. And if you guys go to yahuandthetorah.net, you can download the Hallelujah Scriptures, the same one we're reading right here. And it's pretty good. The scan's pretty good. I do see some letters on the back. It does look like there's letters like right here.
And I'll need another program to clear it up
So,
that I don't get that.
so maybe one day we'll have a perfect digital version of this. But till then, let's get on with it. Okay. Verse 3. And the serpent was more crafty than any beast of the field which Yahuwah Elohim had made. And he said to the woman, is it true that Elohim has said, do not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said to the serpent, we are to eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim has said, do not eat it, nor touch it, lest you die. Okay.
It's like, I'd say finish it toward when it says good and evil.
Okay, good and evil. Okay, so you shall die. And the serpent said to the woman, you shall certainly die. You shall certainly not die. For Elohim knows that in the day you eat of it, your eyes shall be open, and you shall be like Elohim, knowing good and evil. Okay, now let's take a quick look at the Targum because it's a lot different in certain spots. Okay, here we go. And the serpent was wiser unto evil than all the beasts of the field which Yahuwah Elohim had made. And he said to the woman, is it truth that Yahuwah Elohim hath said, you shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said to the serpent, from the rest of the fruits of the trees of the garden we have power to eat, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Yahuwah hath said, you shall not eat of it, nor approach it, lest you die. In that hour, the serpent spake accusation against his creator and said to the woman, dying you will not, for every artificer hateth the son of his art. For it is manifest before Yahuwah that in the day that you eat of it, you will be as the great messengers who are wise to know between good and evil. Okay, what do we have different here, guys, that you guys don't have in your scriptures?
It said it spoke accusations. It said that he hates the art of the artificer.
Yeah, and what is? Do you guys know what that means?
No, I think it's the art of the creator.
Like if you created something, if you are the main person that created something, and the person you created starts doing the same stuff, he's basically bamboozling her, is what he's doing.
Yeah, he's very tricky. I mean, they're very innocent, right? They're like children. They don't know a lot. They're like little kids. They're gonna believe anything that's said to them. So they're just saying what their parent has told them. And so the serpent came by and just tricked them into it. It's just like little children. They have no experience with any of this.
Yep, the rain's getting louder, guys. Sorry, we're just going to continue on. And the woman beheld Samael, I'm at the very top, guys, the angel of death, and was afraid. Yet she knew that the tree was good to eat, and that it was medicine for the enlightenment of the eyes, and desirable tree by means of which to understand. Okay, have we ever heard of Samael before?
No, we've never heard of him. So,
so she saw the angel of death, and yet she still is going to go eat.
So that's his part. Yeah.
Okay, 5. For now, I'm down at the bottom, guys, and we are at 6. All right. And the woman saw that the tree was good for food, that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree desirable to make one wise. And she took of its fruit and ate. And she also gave to her husband with her, and he ate. Okay, where are we at up here?
So right here.
You need to get up to where we read to.
Okay.
And he ate. Oh, you just
were. Yeah, I know. I was seeing like where you should end off at.
Okay, we can't both touch this at the same time. It
doesn't
work out. So, okay, 7. And then where do we need? So we're starting at the top again, and we're trying to get the different pieces.
It'll be on themselves about the cover.
Okay.
Should I read that?
No. And she took of its fruit and did eat, and she gave to her husband with her, and he did eat. And the eyes of both were enlightened, and they knew that they were naked, divested of the purple robe in which they had been created, And they saw the sight of their shame, and sewed to themselves the leaves of figs, and made to them cinctures. Okay. Anything new that you guys did not know? What is a purple robe?
I don't know. That's not, I don't know either.
Is that just their nakedness or something?
Once they had been created, I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, so
Let's see, where's Jerusalem then?
So the Jerusalem, guys, is another version of this that it's almost the same translation, but they ended up with two translations. Let's try the Jerusalem version. And they made to them vestments.
That's it.
That's it. I guess that was it. Okay.
It's 8.
8. It's getting noisy, guys. Getting noisy. I'd like to rebuke the rain, but it's Yah's rain, so we can't do this. So here we go. 8. And they heard the sound of Yahuwah walking about in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahuwah Elohim among the trees up to the top of the garden. And Yahuwah called unto Adam and said to him, Where are you? And he said, I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid myself. Okay, now at the top of this, let's go. And they heard the voice of the word of Yahuwah Elohim walking in the garden in the repose of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from before Yahuwah Elohim among the trees of the garden. And Yahuwah Elohim called to Adam and said to him, Is not all the world which I have made manifest before me, the darkness as the light? And how hast thou thought in thine heart to hide from before me? The place where thou art concealed, do I not see? Where are the commandments that I commanded thee? Okay, it's getting real loud, folks. Can anyone hear? I don't know. Hopefully you guys can still hear. We're all huddled right next to this tablet. Hopefully you can hear. Okay, Eli, where you at?
Okay. So, I don't think you finished it far enough yet.
It's getting loud, guys. I'm so sorry. Okay, and where are we at?
So at the very top now.
Okay, and he said, The voice of thy word heard I in the garden, and I was afraid, because I am naked. And the commandment which thou didst teach me I have transgressed. Therefore I hid myself from shame. Okay, now verse 9?
Yep.
Okay, verse 9 at the bottom here, guys. And Yahuwah Elohim called unto Adam and said to him, Where are you? And he said, I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, so I hid myself. And he said, Who made you know that you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree which I commanded you that you should not eat? And the man said, The woman who you gave to me to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I ate. Okay, so where are we at on this thing?
Alright, so, and I ate, so we still need to go further.
Okay, so I still need to go?
Yep.
And Yahuwah Elohim said to the woman, What is this you have done? And the woman said, The serpent deceived me, and I ate.
Alright, if you want to stop there, you can.
Okay, where are we at on the top part?
So, right here.
Okay.
Right here, and he said.
Okay, and he said, now we're at the top, we're back to the target. And he said, Who showed thee that thou art naked? Unless thou hast eaten of the fruit of the tree, which I commanded that thou shouldest not eat. And Adam said, The woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the fruit of the tree, and I did eat. And Yahuwah Elohim said to the woman, What hast thou done? And the woman said, The serpent beguiled me with his subtlety, and deceived me with his wickedness, and I ate. Okay. I don't know if we're going to make it with this rain. Okay, where are we at today?
And I ate.
Okay. Hallelujah Scriptures and a lot of rain. And Yahuwah Elohim said to the serpent, Because you have done this, you are cursed more than all livestock, and more than every beast of the field. On your abdomen you are to go, and eat dust all the days of your life. Okay, where's this at? Okay, hopefully you guys can hear this. And Yahuwah Elohim, this is from the Targum at the top. And Yahuwah Elohim brought the three unto judgment, and he said to the serpent, Because thou hast done this, cursed art thou of all the cattle, and of all the beasts of the field. Upon thy belly thou shalt go, and thy feet shall be cut off. And thy skin thou shalt cast away once in 7 years. And the poison of death shall be in thy mouth, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. Okay, guys, everyone close. What did you guys hear on this? What's new to this?
Basically talks about the snake and how he
how he became venomous. He sheds his skin. He loses his legs.
Yeah, he said he must have walked.
Why did the entire group of serpents get punished for this dude?
I don't know. I don't know, but this dude did it. Okay, where are we at here?
Let's see. And I put 15.
Okay, 15. And I put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. He shall crush your head, and you shall crush his heel. Now, guys, I've never understood this in the Bible. It kind of makes sense, but it doesn't really make sense. So let's go up to the Targum.
You want to finish 16th verse?
Okay. To the woman he said, I greatly increase, and your sorrow and your conception bring forth children in pain, and your desire is for your husband, and he rules over you. Now, this makes a lot more sense right here. Where's that?
Okay. And I'll put.
Okay, at the top here, guys, where it says the Targum. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between the seed of thy son and the seed of her sons. And it shall be when the sons of the woman keep the commandments of the law, they will be prepared to smite thee upon thy head. But when they forsake the commandments of the law, thou wilt be ready to wound them in their heel. Nevertheless, for them there shall be a medicine, but for thee there will be no medicine. And they shall make a remedy for the heel in the days of the king Mashiach. Okay, what do we know? What do we learn here that we've never ever learned before?
We heard that Yahushua, the king, he will heal the people. He will heal them from the serpent's curse.
Well, it makes a lot more sense. And right here it says that when the sons of the woman consider the law, even in the Jerusalem Post here, it says when the sons of the women consider the law and perform its instructions, they will be prepared to smite thee on thy head and kill thee. And when the sons of the woman forsake the commandment of the law and perform not its instructions, thou wilt be ready to wound them in their heel and hurt them. Nevertheless, there shall be a medicine for the sons of the women, but for thee, serpent, there shall be no medicine. For it is to be that for these there shall be a remedy for the heel in the days of the king Mashiach. Wow, that's amazing. I don't know what's more amazing, the rain coming out that we can't hear anything, or that this is... So what do we get with this, Jake?
Basically, we have it talks about like killing the serpent, how the serpent was a punishment when we don't keep the law.
Yeah, but
I think it's more of a metaphorical.
Where did this come? Where did we lose this translation in all these other versions? How come we didn't know this was about keeping the commandments? And how come we've never heard of King Messiah before this? We've never heard Mashiach prior to this.
I think the world would be a little different if we had translation like that.
Why didn't we have this translation? So far, I'm not seeing anything wrong with this translation at all, and hopefully this rain just disappears. Father Yah, please help this rain to disappear so we can get your message out, because this is amazing stuff.
Okay. Still in the Targum.
Still in the Targum. Where are we at?
The top.
Top. Unto the woman he said, multiplying I will multiply thy affliction by the blood of thy virginity and by thy conception. In sorrow shalt thou bear children, and to thy husband shall be thy desire, and he will have rule over thee unto the righteousness or unto sin. Okay, put that where it needs to go, you guys. Wow, that's interesting. What do we guys have to say on this whole thing?
It just gives really a good explanation of what things are, really. Like a more in-depth version that we really needed a long time ago.
Yeah, this is amazing. Okay. Is everyone out there still hearing this?
Yeah.
Isn't this amazing, guys, in the chat room?
Tyler says this is wonderful. The rain is adding so much atmosphere. It really brings out the storms of the message.
Well, yeah, no, we're sitting here trying not to scream into this little tiny tablet we have here, but we're having a lot of fun with you guys. We're continuing on. So we know that there is a medicine coming, guys. We knew back in Genesis 1 that there was a medicine. How come we didn't know this?
Evil people took it out. People of Satan himself took that part out, translated it wrong, and here we are.
You need to speak into that, get out the hands here. Yeah, it's very, very important that we, all of a sudden, now we know that we had a medicine for the snake. But there is no medicine for the snake. It's for the bite. And it makes a lot more sense. I just found that very, very fascinating, guys. All right, let's continue on. And again, sorry for the rain. We love you guys. Okay, 17. And to the man he said, because you have listened to the voice of your wife and have eaten of the tree of which I commanded you, saying, do not eat of it. Cursed is the ground because of you. In toil you are to eat of it all the days of your life. And it shall bring forth thorns and thistles for you, and you shall eat the plants of the field. Okay, are we at the next one, Eli?
Yeah, still keep going slow.
Okay. By the sweat of your face you are to eat bread until you return to the ground. For out of it you were taken. For dust you are, and to dust you return. And the man called his wife's name Kawa, because she became the mother of all living things. Okay. And that in Hallelujah Scriptures, guys, that H right there is a ka. It's Kawa. So I don't know how they ended up with Eve. I don't know how this whole translation did, but we didn't have that right. Okay.
All right, top Targum.
Okay, here we go. Top Targum. But to Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened to the word of thy wife, and hast eaten of the fruit of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it, accursed is the ground, in that it did not show thee thy guilt. Okay, this is, I want to pause right here, right? It just says, Yah cursed, he says, the ground did not show Adam the guilt. What does this mean?
I think is he talking about before that did not show me like where he can just grow up anything he wants. He can just plant it and he doesn't struggle with it.
I don't know. He says, thou shalt not eat it. It curses the ground in that it did not show thee thy guilt. In labor shalt thou eat of it in all the days of thy life, and thorns and thistles will it put forth and increase on account of thee.
It sounds like the ground got punished as well. Like
it was supposed to stop him.
It's just like the grass or something was supposed to stop him for whatever reason.
Well, there was Samuel, the angel of death that we've never ever heard of, sitting there watching Kawa, Eve, as she was.
That's pretty scary that the angel of death was standing right next to her and she still fell into Satan's trap.
She did. She didn't. She was deceived. Okay, Eli, where are we at on this?
Okay.
And thorns and thistles will it put forth, increase on account of thee, and thou shalt eat the herb which is on the face of the field. And Adam answered, I pray through mercies from before thee, O Yahuwah, that we may not be accounted as the cattle, to eat the herb of the face of the field. Let us stand up and labor with the labor of the hands, and eat food of the food of the earth. And thus let there be distinction between thee, between the children of men and the offspring of cattle. Wow. Okay, so we learned something new that we had never ever heard before.
He was afraid he was going to become an animal.
Well, that's kind of what Yah said. That's kind of what he said. He said he cursed us to be like that. And I guess if that is what non-Torah keepers are like, that you just go eat the grass like a cow eats. And then Adam's like, please don't let us do this.
I guess it kind of makes sense for Nebuchadnezzar ate grass for 7 years as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Nebuchadnezzar ate grass for 7 years. Okay, so what is the Jerusalem have? Does Jerusalem have anything else?
Just like Dardine.
Okay, let's just read it. Keep it. And thorns and Dardaradarian shall increase to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb which is on the face of the field. And Adam answered, I pray through mercies from before thee, O Yahuwah, that we be not accounted before thee as the cattle, to eat the herb which is in the face of the field. Let us now stand up and labor with the labor of the hands, and eat food of the fruits of the earth. And in these things let there be distinction between thee, between the children of men and the cattle. Wow. So it sounds like we ended up almost eating food like the cows.
Wow.
And there's still more for you to read.
Okay, and there's
after parentheses.
Okay.
By labor.
Okay, so let me get into the Targum again, guys, at the top. By the labor of thy hands thou shalt eat food, until thou turn again to the dust from which thou wast created. For dust thou art, and unto dust thou shalt return. For from the dust it is to be that thou art to arise, to render judgment and reckoning for all that thou hast done in the day of the great judgment. Okay, and Adam called the name of his wife Hava. So, and this would probably be Kawa as well, probably. I mean, the Hallelujah Scriptures might have this right. Hava, Kawa, because she is the mother of all the children of men. Okay. Wow.
All right,
21. All right. And Yahuwah Elohim made coats of skin for the man and his wife and dressed them. Okay, I'm going to stop right there, guys. Yeah. What do we know right now of the coats of skin? What did you guys think they were clothed in?
Like sheepskin. I think he slaughtered an animal and made sheepskin out of it.
I think he talked to Jack Jubilees about a sacrifice Adam did, and then he gave him the skin from that, but we'll see.
Okay, well let's see what this version says. Okay, and Eli, I'm at the top.
Yep.
And Yahuwah Elohim made to Adam and to his wife vestures of honor from the skin of the serpent, which he had cast from them, upon the skin of their flesh, instead of the adornment which had been cast away, and he clothed them. Okay, what adornment were they in?
Nakedness?
No, they're in fig leaves. They made their own fig leaves.
Oh.
Come on. fail. All right, yeah.
So I think the serpent was like extremely thick before some, because that's a lot of skin to like clothe two humans from like one serpent.
Yeah, who knows what this kind of thing was? But do we have anything? Do we know this? Does this go against anything that we know of?
No, not off the top of my head.
Isn't it kind of weird that they were dressed up in snake skin?
I'll check Adam and Eve and see what
No,
that
because we see that John the Baptist is wearing camel's fur as well.
Camel skin, yeah, camel.
So
Yeah.
it's obviously okay to wear, I guess,
The dead,
animal's
unclean thing?
skin.
Yeah.
I mean, there's two people of Yah were like that.
So this is something we've never ever heard about. Why wouldn't we know? Why wouldn't the king tell us this, or why wouldn't the translations we have any of this in there?
Because it brings us closer to Yah, make us be prepared for what is to come, make us more understanding of what is to come. And if we don't have those, we're just living our lives as a Christian.
Okay,
22.
That's 22.
Hell yeah.
And Yahuwah said, "See, next page. See, man has become like one of us, to know good and evil. And now, lest he put out his hand and take also of the tree of Kai and eat and live forever." So Yahuwah Elohim sent him out of the Garden of Eden to till the ground from which he was taken. And he drove the man out, and he placed cherubim at the east of the Garden of Eden, and a flaming sword which turned every way, to guard the way to the tree of Kai. Okay, and where are we at, Eli? Okay, let's read the final parts on this in the Targum. And Yahuwah Elohim said to the messengers who ministered before him. Okay, so we didn't know they were messengers, right? It said in this version, it was he said ours, right?
Like us.
Like us, right? We didn't know who us was, but we now know because of this version that in the day 2, Yahuwah made the messengers that were ministering to him. So let's continue on. And Yahuwah Elohim said to the messengers who ministered before him, "Behold, Adam is soul on the earth, as I am soul in the heavens above. And it will be that they will arise from him who will know to discern between good and evil. Had he kept the commandments which I appointed to him, he would have lived and subsisted as the tree of life forever. But now, because he hath not kept that which I prescribed, it is decreed against him that we keep him from the Garden of Eden, before he reach forth his hand and take of the tree of life. For behold, if he eat thereof, living he will and subsist forever. And Yahuwah Elohim removed him from the Garden of Eden, and he went and dwelt on Mount Moriah to cultivate the ground from which he had been created. And he drave out the man from thence where he had made to dwell the glory of his Shekinah at the first between the two cherubim before he had created the world." Okay, so let's stop right there before we go to the next thing. What do we know that we did not know?
Okay, so Mount Moriah, we actually knew from Adam and Eve. They were all up on top of a mountain. It just didn't say what kind of mountain they were on.
Okay, Mount Moriah. Okay, so we know he was created. So now we know where man was created. He wasn't created in the garden. He was created on Mount Moriah, where this was. Okay, what else do we know from this right here that we didn't know? Who is Shekinah? Glory of his Shekinah. Shekinah has to be talking about Yah. Whatever Shekinah is, his Shekinah. That's capitalized right there. So that has to be something about his. So he said he made to dwell the glory of his Shekinah at the first between the two cherubim, the two angels. Okay, so what do we get? Jade, you with me here?
Yep. Yeah, we see that he was tilling. We saw he was working in the land on his little mountain he was on, where he was put after he was kicked out. We see that there was a tree of life, that there was something he could eat where he could live forever. There's a fruit that makes you live forever.
Yeah. Okay, this is interesting, the next part. Let's see. Okay, before he created the world, he created the law. He prepared the Garden of Eden for the righteous, that they might eat. I want to discuss this real quick. Right here. That they might eat and delight themselves with the fruit of the tree, because they would have practiced in their lives the doctrine of the law in this world and have maintained the commandments. But he prepared Gehenna for the wicked, which is like the sharp, consuming sword of two edges. In the midst of it, he hath prepared flakes of fire and burning coals for the judgment of the wicked who rebelled in their life against the doctrine of the law. To serve the law is better than to eat of the tree of life, the law, which the word of Yahuwah prepared, that man in keeping it might continue and walk in the paths of the way of life in the world to come.
Wow.
Wow. So we right now, I'm starting to understand why they pulled all of this out of scriptures, because this is in Genesis 3, and it says that we were not keeping the laws of God, which is why we were cursed, why Adam was cursed, and that we learned that the law was created 2,000 years before we were ever created. That's something to understand.
He said that it was better that we keep the law than eat of the tree of life. Which is crazy to think that instead of it's better to keep the law than live forever, because we will be eating from the tree of life if we keep the law.
Yeah, and this is a very amazing. I had plans to go 5, 6, 7, and 8 guys, but this is probably a little disturbing to everybody. So we're probably going to wrap up on this. But
the Grand says Shekinah. She went and looked it up. Is dwelling, settlement, presence in a place.
What is it?
Here.
So it is Shekinah is dwelling, settlement, presence in a place. Okay.
So it's like Yah's dwelling.
Yeah, Yah's dwelling. So that's where Yah is in that. And so he basically put the cherubim so we couldn't get back to his presence. All right. So I guess everyone in the chat room who's heard this is the first time we've heard this. And I guess we'll leave this at here. We've been doing this for like an hour and 30 minutes. I could probably go for another 2 or 3 hours. This is very, very interesting. But I guess we'll leave it at this because the rain has taken us out.
I want to read the Jerusalem version.
The Jerusalem version?
Just because it says the 2,000 years.
I said 2,000 years prior to that, right?
I don't think so.
Okay. Oh, is that what I missed?
Yeah.
Okay. Here, I missed something. Okay, so let's read this real quick. And the word of Yahuwah Elohim said, Behold, Adam who I have created is soul in my world, and I am soul in the heavens above. It is to be that a great people are to arise from him. From him will arise a people who will know how to discern between good and evil. How do we discern between good and evil?
The Torah.
We know what the Torah is. We are born with a conscience.
This is amazing. And the conscience doesn't give us good and evil.
Well, it gives us morality. We know what
you could be raised with a horrible parents and you would have no conscience whatsoever. You could hurt things and not even know you're hurting them because that's just how you've been raised. Okay, so conscience, that's like the Christians saying the Holy Spirit is going to make them know the Torah when they don't know that. Okay. And now it is good that we keep him from the Garden of Eden before he stretched forth his hand and take also of the fruit of the tree of life and eat and live forever. And he cast out Adam and made the glory of his Shekinah to dwell at the front of the east of the Garden of Eden, above the two cherubim, 2,000 years before he had created the world, he created the law and prepared Gehenna and the Garden of Eden. So now we know the Garden of Eden, however the Garden of Eden was there, it was there. So he created the law and prepared Gehenna and the Garden of Eden, and he probably did it in that order, would be my guess. He created his ways. He created a place that we would go if we didn't keep them. And then he gave us the garden where we should have been keeping them. So it's amazing.
Definitely not the laws of Moses.
Yeah, this is not the laws of Moses. This is the laws of Yah, right? And imagine this, if this was all in our Bibles, we wouldn't have the Christians today. Well, this is the laws of Moses. It never came around. It very clearly says in Genesis that the laws were made 2,000 years before we were ever formed. That is amazing. All right, where am I at here, Eli?
Let's see. Shekinah, 2,000 years. Gave him. All right, he prepared.
Okay, he prepared the Garden of Eden for the righteous, that they should eat and delight themselves with the fruit of the tree, because they had kept the commandments of the law in this world. For the wicked he prepared Gehenna, which is like the sharp, consuming sword with two edges. He prepared in the depth of it flakes of fire and burning coals for the wicked, for their punishment forever in the world to come, who have not kept the commandment of the law in this world. For the law is the tree of life. Whoever keepeth it in this life liveth, and subsisteth as the tree of life. The law is good to keep in this world, and the fruit of the tree of life in the world that cometh. I have this feeling that we got bamboozled with all of these translations that we have. I don't think that we have even in the Septuagint. The Septuagint doesn't say anything like this. How did we end up missing all of these details? And I don't see any of these details as going against the commandments. I see them as supporting them. That creation, the law was created 2,000 years. I mean, I just, that's amazing. All right. Well, I guess that's it. It's a rainy day here.
Is there a place they can find the Targum themselves?
Yeah, the Targum. You guys can go. So here, we're going to take this right here. If you guys want to do a little bit more Shabbat reading, you guys can go right here. and go to the top of Yahoo and the Torah. Nicole, did you put a link in there?
I did. I'm actually going to go do it again. I'm just getting there. And I'll actually put this one just as a link right in the chat here in just a second.
You guys can go, the same one we're reading from is right here. If you click on downloads, the same Tanakh that we're reading out of, the same Torah is right there. And then right here, Genesis, the Targum of Palestine. And I didn't want to put the Targum of Palestine up yet because we hadn't read through it. So if we find stuff later that is very evil, then I will take this down. But so far, this seems like it makes a tremendous amount of sense. Stuff we didn't have before. And it clearly says the laws of our Creator are for everything. And that's what it's supposed to be all about. And that's basically what we're saying through all of this stuff. So,
like the Grand says, inherited lies.
Yeah, inherited lies. We didn't know. So guys, thank you guys very, very much. We love you all, everybody that's out there. A huge shout, huge hugs.
We have to say hi to a few people that came in real quick.
You might have to speak up there, little Nicole.
I know, I'm sorry. So there's Vasily from Romania. He popped in.
Hi, Vasily.
Let's see. Strive for Truth is in here, which is Kat. Hi, Kat.
Yeah, Kat. This is Kat was the gal who actually got us this copy. We are reading because of her hard work. So thank you very, very, very much, Strive for Truth. Much love to you, dear sis. We really, really appreciate you.
I think Not of This World.
Not of This World.
She's here also.
And anyone else that we missed, if we missed you, we are so sorry. Just know that we love you all. We really, really appreciate you guys. And thank you guys very, very much. I hope you guys have a wonderful Shabbat. I hope you guys seek Yah. Seek the kingdom where he is able to be found. And we will anxiously anticipate next week. Seeing you guys doing another one of these readings. Hopefully we don't get rained out. We are towards the end of our wet season here, and it just gets rainier and rainier for the next couple of months. So hopefully Yah will have mercy on us and not smash us with the rain while we're doing this. But it is his will for everything. So thank you guys very, very much. I guess that's it. Goodbye to everyone in the chat room, and we will see you later.
All right, shalom.
Shalom. No music. Yeah, nobody can hear anything. Much love, everyone.
Shalom.
We're out.